There are several commanders that you should actually think about once you enter KVK 2. Which of these commanders are the commanders that you should focus on? Well, if you want to know, stick to the video. But before we go ahead and start the video, what's up going guys, my name is Nico and I welcome you yet to another video. Today guys, we're gonna talk about the best commanders in KVK 2, not the commander pairings. I'm gonna do a dedicated video about that. Stick to the video if you wanna know. First things first, we are gonna talk about the honorable mentions. Now look, this video will be about low spenders, because for free-to-play players I'm gonna mention only the top commanders for free-to-play players, because these commanders in the honorable mentions are more or less for spenders, whether it's high spenders, low spenders, or mid spenders. Let's go ahead and go for the honorable mentions. Well, one of them is Genghis Khan. It really depends if you're a spender or a very active player. First of all, you can get the Genghis only in the Mightiest Governor, and it is very important to say Genghis Khan will suit you well only in KVK 2, because after that he will be outmatched by so many commanders. So it really depends if you are going for the Mightiest Governor, and if you are gonna push in the Mightiest Governor, or if you have a Mightiest Governor where everything's fine and you can actually go for them. Genghis is not bad, has some nice damage, his expertise is really nice, and he also gets some skill damage bonus. But like I said, Genghis is good only in KVK 2, and definitely for any free-to-play player, never go the Genghis Khan way. Only if you're a high spender or a very active player in a very active kingdom, then you can think about Genghis Khan. Coming up next, there is the Tomyris, and she got the same thing like Genghis Khan. She will be good in KVK 2, don't get me wrong. Her poison stacks are an actual really, I don't know, it is really interesting, but since we get Hermann Prime in KVK 3, she really loses her value. She also is a Mightiest Governor commander, so if you are pushing the Mightiest Governor, you can actually think about her, but I wouldn't. Tomyris, yes, in KVK 2, she is good, that's why she's in the honorable mentions, but I wouldn't go for her because I'm just not a Tomyris fan. Coming up next, who would have thought, we have Charles Martel. Why is he so good? Well, he will be still one of the best gold key commanders, but that's the thing. He's a gold key commander, so never invest any gold heads into him. But if you have him from the gold keys, if you're as lucky as me and you have the first skill at 5, and you're lucky even with your second skill as a free-to-play or a low spender, you can actually not invest into him like any gold has, but you can think about his ornaments, his formations, and of course make some gear for him to push him to at least level 50, maybe even to level 60. But like I said, don't invest any gold heads into him. Charles will always be a very strong commander in the early game. You can think about him, but never invest gold heads into Charles Martel. Same goes for Pyrrhus, but Pyrrhus in my opinion just has the edge over Charles Martel right now. If you are very lucky and you have his first skill at 5 and you're lucky and get his expertise as fast as possible, get him only from the gold keys, never invest into Pyrrhus. He's a gold key commander, you will get him eventually. But like I said, he might just be the best gold key commander. He is really amazing, because he will provide you with so many buffs. He has some nice damage, but also damage bonus. He has some health bonus, march speed bonus, again another damage bonus while outside of territory. He gets some shield, he gets some attack bonus, he gets some skill damage reduction, he gets some damage bonus. So really, Pyrrhus is, in my opinion, the best gold key commander, and I might even think about a top commander in KVK 2 when I look at Pyrrhus, but the only thing is holding him back. He's a gold key commander, so yes, you can actually think about using any gold heads and just like using those gold heads into him, but I wouldn't recommend that because you will get Pyrrhus for free eventually and it's just not worth it. At the same page like Pyrus is Tutmosis and of course Mehmed. Both of them will receive really nice museum buffs in KVK 3, and yes, Tutmose is really awesome. He has some decent damage, like AoE damage to 3 targets, and 1000 damage factor isn't bad, but what really pops up is his healing reduction, some bonus, damage bonus, archer attack bonus, march speed bonus, which is really nice. Of course, some defense bonus, skill damage taken increase, so a strong buff for himself. And there you have some reduction and instant proc damage, which is always really nice. Yes, Tutmose is a very good transition commander, especially right now we will get a Tutmose with a third museum buff, which means he will provide you with even more stats. So Tutmose actually is in the honorable mentions because he just has so many stats and buffs and debuffs. Speaking of buffs and debuffs, Mehmed. He has a AoE skill damage to 5 enemy targets, which is not bad, like around 1000, which is actually pretty decent. But what really pops up is attack bonus and skill damage bonus, means he will provide your commanders with way more damage. But like I said, Mehmed and Tutmosis, both of them are gold key commanders, so don't invest into them if you're a free-to-play player or a very low spender. If you're a spender, like mid spender or even high spender, you can push your Mehmed to 5515 from the dailies. Like if you're spending money, actual money, you can buy him and go for a 5515. Then you will have the maximum value from Mehmed, because in KVK 3 he'll get a museum buff that is actually super broken. And the same goes for your Tutmose. Go for a, if you have him in the dailies, go for 555. Well, you can actually expertise Tutmose from the dailies, but yeah. And then we are at the top commanders. Why do I think is Richard I the top commander? First of all, he's so early on obtainable. Like, I think after 30 days you will get him from the wheel. And it really is important to say Richard has a role as a barb chaining commander or barb killing commander. If you have him in a fight, yes, you can use him in a fight, but like I said, he is more or less a barb chaining commander. Why do I have gear on him? Well, first of all, once Alex comes into the wheel, I'm gonna max out Alex, so yes, I need at least some nice and good infantry gear. Your Richard I needs to be 5511 or 5111, which is actually, that's enough. Never invest more into him, but you will see that once you're a active free-to-play player or a active low spender, Richard I is in my opinion a must-have commander at level 60, because in KVK 1, 2, 3, 4 Season of Conquest KVKs, you will see barb chaining is one of those things that free-to-play players need to do to actually keep up with the spenders. And Richard I, in my opinion, is the best barb chaining commander because he has such a big sustain, so much healing, and he is just absolutely great. He will last on the battle against barbarians for so long. You can think about him, using him even in the combat in KVK 2. He will not be bad. I mean, it's still Richard I, and once he's level 60 with full gear, some nice ornaments, you will see he is still a playable commander. But in KVK 2, he will start to pop up only as a barb chainer. Speaking of barb chaining, the Aethelflaed. But why is Aethelflaed one of the top commanders? First of all, she's for free. Second of all, yes, I'm very close to actually expertise her, but it will still take so many gold heads to actually expertise her. And yes, the Aethelflaed is absolutely gorgeous and great. Why do I think is the Aethelflaed so good? Well, her AoE fan damage against 5 enemy targets is not reduced. Although it's just 800, it's still really nice. But she reduces the attack, defense and health reduction, which is actually really nice. She also has counterattack damage reduction, cavalry march speed reduction, and other unit march speed reduction, which is really awesome. Yes, this is only against barbarians and XP bonus, but that's the thing. Even if you don't have any usage for Aethelflaed, you can still pair Richard I with your Aethelflaed, and then you have like the best barb chaining commanders, which will be so helpful, literally. And her last skill is, if you're a rally captain or if you're rallying a lot of enemies or anything, yes, your rallied army unit capacity will be increased. And her expertise, if some commanders are slowed, she will deal 20 more damage, which every time the enemy commanders will be slowed because of the other unit march speed reduction, so she will always deal more damage, which is always really nice. Yes, the Aethelflaed in the late game will be only for chaining barbs, but that's okay. In my opinion, the Aethelflaed, she has the support tree, so at the beginning, even in KVK2, she can be used as a primary because the support tree is just so good. Coming to the new commanders or newer commanders in KVK2, like Saladin is maybe one of the oldest commanders in the game. Saladin, absolutely a commander that you can think about. Why do I say think about? Because if you're a low spender and you decide to go with cavalry, but you already have Minamoto, then you don't need Saladin. But once you're a free-to-play player or a low spender or a mid spender and you for some reason did not decide to go with Minamoto, then you can really think about Saladin. I'm not saying Saladin is broken in KVK3 because he's not, but he's still a very viable player, commander, in KVK2, even in KVK3, and maybe even in the late game once his museum buffs are revealed, and we will see whether he's good enough or not. Why is he so good? Well, first of all, you don't need his expertise. You need to go 5, 5, 5, 1, and then you have the maximum, almost the maximum value from Saladin. Second of all, he is a Wheel of Fortune commander. He is not a Mightiest Governor commander. So even low spenders and free-to-play players, if they have a lot of gold heads, a lot of gems, and they for some reason really want to actually have a commander to invest in, and they are focusing on calves, then yes, Saladin is a pretty cheap investment in my opinion. 300 gold heads or 380 gold heads, and he will receive 3 times the Wheel of Fortune, and then he will also be in the dailies. So yes, in my opinion, Saladin is a commander that you can think about, but only if you don't have Minamoto. Speaking of Minamoto is still a top commander. In my opinion, Minamoto is the second best commander, but I think a lot of players can agree that he's a third best commander in KVK2. Why is that? Well, first of all, Minamoto has probably the highest single target damage till KVK3. He will deal 1400 skill damage all the time. And then there is a 75% chance to deal additional 600 damage for the next 2 seconds. So in average, this means he will deal 2030 skill damage, which is so much. Trust me, this is really high. Then he also has cavalry march speed. He also has attack bonus, which is always nice. His third skill, unfortunately, is damage against barbarians, which is in the late game really nice, because in the late game you don't want to use Minamoto, or at least not as primary, but you can use him still as a peacekeeping commander, means beating and defeating the barbarians. His fourth skill is probably one of the biggest and really cool actually debuff, like damage taken increase from the other guys, so you will deal even more damage. There is a slightly chance to for 3 seconds, and the cooldown is 5 seconds, so it's still broken. But what is the only thing Minamoto is bad at? Well, he is a pay-to-win commander. The only bad thing about Minamoto is you have to invest like $190 into him to have him expertise. I did that because I'm still considered a low spender, or a spender at least, and I still think this will suit me so well, because I right now have a very strong cavalry commander, which means in the late game I don't need to focus first on the cavs, I need to focus on other commanders like, I don't know, Liu Che or Zhuge Liang or Herman Prime or Scipio, which actually is very important for me because right now cav commanders are not as strong as they used to be, and you really want to focus on your inf and archer commanders, which basically means you can actually skip the first wheels of fortune for your caps. You don't have to. I mean, everybody should have Joan of Arc Prime or Nevsky or Huo Bing or William eventually, but this, because of Minamoto's expertise and because of this museum buff that he will get, and he will also get free museum buffs eventually. Right now he has 2 and he has the most amount of stats, which means he will have even more stats in the late game once he has free museum buffs. So yes, Minamoto, in my opinion, absolutely a must-have commander. Coming to the second best commander, we have YSG. Why do I think is my YSG a little bit better than Minamoto? Well, yes, my Minamoto is expertise, and I think Minamoto for me is way better, but I understand YSG overall is just a little bit better commander. First of all, he wants his expertise, and you really need YSG's expertise. There is no way around. If you want to go for YSG, he needs to be expertised. Don't use him unless he's expertised, okay? If he is expertised, he deals direct damage to up to 5 enemy troops, 1700 damage factor in a circle AoE, which is really good. His second skill means he will get rage gain bonus, archer attack bonus by 100%, which is really nice. His third skill, just ignore it, and his fourth skill, 50% skill damage bonus, is just so nice. So yes, YSG is really good. And why do I think is YSG a little bit better than Minamoto, free-to-play commander? Which basically means you don't have to buy him like for real money. You unlock him from the Wheel of Fortune and with your gold ads. You can't do that with Minamoto, unfortunately. And that's the only reason why I think the YSG has the edge over Minamoto, because he is just more obtainable than your Minamoto. And yeah, YSG is absolutely a really great commander in KVK 1, 2 and 3, but later on he will lose these buffs because there are just better commanders like Zhuge Liang, Herman Prime and Boudica Prime. And the top commander of the top commanders in KVK 2 and even later on, who would have thought, is Alexander the Great. Do I think Alexander the Great is even great in the late game? Absolutely yes. We don't know what are the new infantry commanders. Alexander the Great, as for right now, is absolutely great. First of all, he has tons of shield providing, instant proc damage 1700, healing reduction, some march speed bonus, attack bonus, so his proc damage will deal even more damage, attack bonus, defense bonus, absolutely great. But what really is very important when he's expertise, up to 3 nearby enemy troops take 30% more damage seconds, and there is only for 4 seconds. So every time he actually has a active shield, he will provide you with like a so powerful debuff, and trust me, this is so nice. Alexander the Great is by far the best commander in KVK 2, and he is even very used in KVK 3 and later on, so absolutely a must-have investment for everybody, even for free-to-play players. Trust me, Alexander the Great will be very important for you. And there you have it. This is it with the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And always play Rise of Kingdoms. See ya. Goodbye.